All right, guys, I got a crazy battle for you. ZVE-10, the old school little G boy, and we got up here the Panny S5 Mark II. You say, why am I comparing these two? Well, check it out and find out. You might be saying, that's a crazy comparison. Why would you compare those two? They're two different price range, APS-C versus full frame. Well, I tell you what, let's compare them, and then you make the judgment call. Let's look at these babies head to head and see how they stack up to each other. First, a quick overview of the cameras. Obviously, the S5 II is built more for the professional use. It's got the 2 card slots, full HDMI. It's got a lot of bells and whistles, histograms, all that stuff. A lot of that stuff I don't even use. However, build quality is better. So as far as the handling and build quality, you got to give it to the S5 II. One good thing I like about the little ZVE-10 though is it's got the tally lamp on it. Right, so you hit record, you can see that little light up on the left next to the lens, and it shows you that you are recording. And I've got both of these on with a 1.8 lens, 35 millimeter on the Sony ZVE-10, which makes it about a 52 mil or so equivalent. And then I've got a 50 mil on the Panasonic S5 II. Another thing I like about the ZVE-10 is that it's a little more simple. I mean, with less customization comes a bit less, confusion, but it still takes time to learn, just like a normal camera. But because there's less options, there's less to go through. But it does have an older menu system, and the touch screen is not touch. You can't do anything with it with menus and stuff. One other thing I like about the ZV-10 is the plug-and-play webcam, which is nice. You can just plug it right in the computer, and it works as a webcam. That's the way your computer sees it. That's some of the bonuses of the little ZVE-10. And the light, compact size if you want to do travel. And image quality. All right, we're going to compare these head to head. How is the image quality between these two cameras? Now you're looking at it now. You tell me, how does this look? Obviously, you've got the recording options are ridiculous with the S5 II. You got open gate. You can go up to 6K. You can do 30 frames per second. But then you can do 60. It is cropped, but it's still 60 frames per second, which is APS-C, which would be about what you're getting with the ZVE-10 anyway. So, I mean, you got so many more recording options. So as far as the recording options go in the video, hands down, the S5 II beats it. But as far as the image quality goes, if you got a controlled setting, the ZVE-10 is amazing. I mean, for the price, you can't beat it. And that's kind of where I'm going now, is the overall value for the price that you pay. The ZVE-10, for the price, is the best camera you can buy. You can buy this thing used with a lens for around $550 right now, $500, depending, probably closer to $550. But that's with a lens, guys, $550. Now, obviously, you want to get a good lens. That's going to cost you another $200-300 to get a nice prime. But, I mean, if you're doing talking heads, you don't have to spend the money on S5 II. That's a bunch of stuff you don't need, right? But it's something you might want eventually, but you don't need it, right? Now, if you get to the point where you grow and you got to do more professional work, that's where the S5 II comes in. But if you're just doing talking heads, you just want to do this one-on-one, this is straight out of camera, right? I'm just going to kind of match exposures a little bit to make the cameras match. But they're both at 100 ISO, and they both got 1.8s. What do you think? How does it look on image quality? I mean, it's not disappointing. The ZVE-10's image quality 4K is amazing. The only problem is you can't shoot more than 4K 30, but 30 is a crop, so you're basically stuck at 4K 24. Now, let's go into the autofocus. Autofocus, ZVE-10, S5 II. Speaking of that, what do you think? The ZVE-10, I mean, it's great. I mean, I got no complaints about the ZVE-10 autofocus. And I got to tell you, the S5 II autofocus is amazing as well. I'd say they're on par with each other. Really, the S5 II impressed me compared to, it's the first major go at it. And with the update, the 3.0 update, it works really good. So the update, the S5 autofocus is great. I'd say the ZVE-10 might be slightly better, maybe, but it's close. It's really close. It'd be splitting hairs, I think, at this point. after the new updates. Battery life, of course, that's going to go to the S5ii. The ZVE-10 has smaller batteries, of course, and with smaller batteries, you get less power. You're going to go through a couple batteries, right? But you can use dummy batteries if you're using the studio, and they're both USB power delivery, so you don't have to worry about that. If you got a USB cord and a charger, you can plug it in and run it till your heart's content. Overheating, again, S5ii, won't overheat. I got to give it the win here. However, honestly, I've never had the ZVE-10 overheat on me. I used it for church services, so I know with the dummy battery it can go hour and a half, 2 hours. I usually had a fan on it, but sometimes I didn't, and I never overheated on me. But it does get warm, but it never overheated, so I can't say it's necessarily a win 100%, but I know all the way that the S5ii, I've ran it 3 hours, no, the fan, it just won't overheat. So that's, if that's your concern, it's not a big deal with either one of these two, but I have to give it to the S5ii because it's got a built-in fan. You know it's not going to overheat. If you put the ZVE-10 in its hot sun for a while, maybe it'll overheat, but I don't think I'll have a problem with the ZVE-10 either. But S5ii, I have to give it to that one because it's got the built-in fan. So what's my conclusion? The ZVE-10 versus the S5ii. You're probably thinking like, what? How can I compare these two? It's not even close. You're talking let's say a $600 camera to a used $1,500 camera, right? You could buy two ZVE-10s for the price of a S5ii. So that's what you got to look at. Plus the lenses are cheaper. But there's the ZVE-10 Mark II coming out, which I think that's going to be the best new boy on the block, the best bang for your buck. But that'll be to seen. That has yet to be seen. We'll see that pretty soon, I'm sure, within the next month or so. But I'm telling you, as of right now, you can't go wrong with the ZVE-10. For the money you spend, if you just want to get into this for under $1,000, and you can use that money to get the camera, a good lens, 2 good lenses maybe, you get some lights, you can get all that for $1,000, right? Whereas the S5ii, it's going to cost you a little more, just the camera alone. If you can get all your lights, all your setup, multiple lenses on the ZVE-10, and if you're only going to use it for this, or for vlogging when you're not moving around, because stabilization is absolutely a no-go on the ZVE-10 unless you put it through Catalyst Browse. Other than that, that's extra time in post. S5ii has amazing stabilization. Best I've used it on a camera by far. If you're going to be using it for on the go, a run and gun, S5ii is great. For photos, they're both pretty good. I don't use them for photos personally. S5ii full frame, got to give it to that one for photos. It's got a viewfinder. ZVE-10 doesn't. For the price, if you're like, Patrick, I only got $700, ZVE-10. Don't even look at another camera. $700, ZVE-10. Yeah, you got the Canon, but they're still waiting for the Sigma lenses to roll out on it, and the ZVE-10 already has a plethora, of other options that are offering on the apsc line, so that you can get that are good budget lenses. Any price range you're looking at, you can get it with the ZVE-10. But if you want something that you can really move up to, if you want to go into the full frame realm, right now, I would say the Lumix S5ii gives you the best bang for dollar of any of them, because you can get a good price used, right? If you really look, you can get it with like a kit lens. It's a pretty good kit lens, 20-60, for around $1,500. 16, definitely $1,600. You can find it. So, and with a kit lens, the kit lens on the S5ii, you can make that work before you get a prime for a while, because the full frame, you could kick up the ISO a little bit and still be perfectly fine. But it's up to you how much you want to spend. If you got less than $1,000, 100%, I would go with the ZVE-10, because you have all the extra money for extra options. And if you've got, if you're around the $1,500 mark-ish, I would say the S5 too. You know, I've played with the Canon R8, great camera. Again, if you're okay with just those basic primes, that's a good camera too, right? But if you want something you can grow into, I mean, this S5 II with open gate 6, I mean, if you want to grow into it, you can. That's all there is to it. But the ZVE-10 is great too. It's hard to say which one is better, but if you're using it just for this, if that's all you do, go with the ZVE-10, really. I mean, I'm just a gear nerd. I like the full frame. Once you see it, you just like it, but it doesn't mean either one's worse than the other. It's just how you're going to use it. I know a lot of people say that, but that's the truth. They're both great cameras. Let me know in the comments below which one do you think, you know, image quality. I have them both set at 5500K, so all that, pretty much the settings are pretty close to the same. I mean, is it worth it to do up a full frame? Can you even tell on this? Again, throughout this, I put them head to head. You let me know in the comments below which way you would go if you were starting out. Help some of the other people that are getting into this looking, or maybe you got a strong opinion on it, right? Because you already got both APS-C or had it and got full frame, and you went down to full frame from full frame, or you went down to the APS-C from full frame, or you went up to full frame from APS-C. Let me know in the comments below. I really want to know. I'm curious to where you guys are on this, because it's not how much money you spend, it's what you're going to do with the money you spend, right? And for you, on a lower budget, you can still get awesome quality. All right, guys, like and subscribe if you like the video. Getting this ain't sponsored. I just like doing this for fun, and I just like to hear your feedback and get a conversation going. Guys, have a great day. Later.